Welcome to the class. Today we will discuss about the Marshallian approach to law of demand. Let us see how Professor Alfred Marshall has explained the law of demand with the help of law of diminishing marginal utility. Marshall has tried to explain the law of demand, which states that if other factors like price of other goods, income of the consumer, tastes and preferences, etc. remain constant, and if price increases, the quantity demanded decreases and vice versa, on the basis of following assumptions. So Marshall has tried to explain the law of demand on the basis of following assumptions. What are those assumptions? Number one, there is only one commodity in the market, say X. Price of that commodity is fixed. Marginal utility can be measured in terms of money. Marginal utility of money is fixed, and marginal utility of money is defined as the extra utility or satisfaction that can be derived or sacrificed for one extra unit of money. And the consumer is a net utility maximizer, which means that he maximizes the net utility, that is the difference between the utility gained and the utility sacrificed. Number 6, the law of diminishing marginal utility is applicable. Number 7, the consumer's money income is limited and he spends all his money income on that single commodity. Please note that here we assume a single commodity model, that is, we only have one commodity and the consumer spends all his money income on that single commodity. Let the consumer buys X units of a commodity at price Px per unit, and the utility or satisfaction derived from the consumption is, let U of X. Now let lambda be the marginal utility of money, which is fixed. Now the expenditure made on the commodity is equal to X into Px, because the consumer buys X units of a commodity at price Px per unit. So his total expenditure is X into Px. Now if for 1 unit of money spending, marginal utility of money sacrificed is lambda, therefore for xpx unit of money spending, marginal utility of money sacrificed is lambda into xpx. So as the consumer is a net utility maximizer, net utility is defined as utility gained minus utility sacrificed. So we can write net utility S. Let us assume S is the net utility. S equals to U of X, this is utility gained from consumption, minus utility sacrifice, that is lambda into xpx. And the objective of the consumer is to maximize the net utility. So S is to be maximized here. So what are the symbols? X equals to units of commodity, Px equals to price per unit, U of X equals to utility derived from consumption, lambda equals to mu of money, lambda and delta equals to change. Since S equals to U of X minus lambda into xpx, if we multiply delta to the both sides of the equation, we get delta S equals to delta U of X minus delta into lambda into xpx. As lambda is a constant and Px per unit is constant, so these would not change as delta equals to change. So we can write delta S equals to delta U of X minus lambda Px into delta X. Only number of units of commodity X would change, Px, that is price per unit, and lambda mu of money wouldn't change. So delta S equals to delta U of X minus lambda Px into delta X. Or if we divide both sides of this equation by delta X, we can write delta S divided by delta X equals to delta U of X divided by delta X minus lambda Px delta X divided by delta X. So this is nothing but marginal utility derived from X, as because this is total utility, delta U change in total utility divided by change in consumption equals to marginal utility. So delta S divided by delta X equals to mu of X minus this delta X, and this delta X cancels out, so lambda Px remains. So delta S divided by delta X equals to mu of X minus lambda Px. When X is maximum, delta S equals to 0. So delta S divided by delta X equals to 0. This is the condition for maximum surplus utility. So we have used this symbol delta equals to change only for those students who do not understand the concept of derivatives. If one understands the concept of derivatives, he would know that putting this is nothing but the first order derivative, and putting first order derivative, delta s divided by delta x is the first order derivative. Putting first order derivative equals to 0, we find out the maxima. Therefore, we put delta s divided by delta x equals to 0. 0 equals to, this is the first order derivative, 0 equals to mu x minus lambda px. So this is the equilibrium condition for purchasing the commodity x. And if we transfer this lambda into px to the left side of the equation, we get lambda px equals to mx. This is the equilibrium condition of the consumer in a single commodity framework. Or it can be written as lambda is marginal utility of money into price of x equals to mu of x. So from this we can explain the law of demand. How? We know lambda px equals to mu of x is the equilibrium condition. Now if px increases, lambda being constant, lambda px will increase, then lambda px is greater than mu x, and the equilibrium condition is disturbed. In order to restore back to the equilibrium condition, mu x has to increase, because from the law of diminishing mu we know that mu will increase if and only if consumption of the commodity decreases. Hence here, to increase mu x, the consumption of the commodity x will decrease, implying that the demand for the commodity x decreases. So we see that if price of x increases, demand for the commodity x decreases. So this is nothing but the law of demand. Therefore the law of demand is explained with the help of the assumptions given by Professor Marshall. Again, if px decreases, it implies lambda px decreases, lambda being constant. So lambda px is less than mu x. It implies that mu x has to fall to restore back to the equilibrium situation, that is lambda px equals to mu x. The mu x has to fall. A consumption of x must increase. If mu x has to fall, the consumption of x must increase, because if the consumption of a commodity increases, the marginal utility decreases. From the law of diminishing mu, we know that when consumption increases, mu falls, and vice versa. Therefore, consumption of x increases means demand for x increases. Therefore, as px or price of x decreases, demand for x increases. This is nothing but the law of demand. Thus, the law of demand is proved. And this can also be explained with the help of this diagram. Please follow this diagram. In figure 1, in vertical axis we measure lambda px and mu x. In the horizontal axis, in figure 1, we measure the consumption of x. Now in the second figure, in the vertical axis we measure the price, in the horizontal axis we measure the demand for x. Now in figure 1, we have drawn diminishing mu curve and a straight line representing lambda px. Since both lambda and price of x remains constant, hence E1 is the equilibrium point where the equality between lambda px and mu x occurs. Here E1, lambda px equals to this mu x. Thus, corresponding to the price px1, quantity demanded for the commodity is ox1, obtained from figure 1. This price is px1 and the quantity is ox1. Now if we plot this price and quantity in figure 2, op1 and ox1, we get a point like A in figure 2. Now as the price of the commodity px decreases, lambda px decreases too, for which the lambda px1 line shifts down to lambda px2 line, where px2 is less than px1, for which the equilibrium point shifts to E2, where the consumer buys OX2 amount of the commodity, which is obtained from figure 1. The px1 decreases to px2, so lambda px1 decreases to lambda px2, and the equality where lambda px equals to mx, this happens at point E2, so E2 is the new equilibrium point. So According to this equilibrium point, the consumption of the commodity X is OX2. Now if we plot this price OPX2 and OX2 in figure 2, OPX2 and OX2 price quantity combination, we get a point like B. Joining A and B, we get the downward sloping demand curve DD. For the commodity X, which explains the law of demand, that is the inverse relationship between the price and the quantity demanded is established. So this is all for this class. Hope you have understood what I have taught today. If you have any doubts or any questions, feel free to comment and raise questions. I'll be happy to answer. Thank you for watching the video.